Edwin Berlanga said he was going to knock Canelo out in the first round. That's exactly what his trainer said. But I'm going to hold my breath before I say what I really want to say about this fight. Because what I'm going to explain to you tonight is what's going to go on, where the skill must come from to beat a guy like Canelo. What does this guy Berlanga have actually opposed to what he needs? Does he have exactly what it needs to take and grab the bull by the horns during this super fight? And it is a super fight. Anytime Canelo fights, he can fight a cab driver, he can fight an Uber driver. If he fights, it's the Mexican night, and everybody else is going to get on board and ride that train. So before I get going, we're going to break down the fight. I'm going to let you hear from people like some of my boys over at all the smoke fight, Oscar De La Hoya, Caleb Plant, who's actually going to be on the card. It's going to be pretty good just to see Caleb Plant get back in there, all the confidence in the world, and going up against an undefeated fighter. We'll hear from him. And at the same time, one other unique thing that's going to happen tonight, before I get it all smoked up and going and stirring the pot, I got to really let you guys see a little bit more of what I saw that really impressed me tonight. And I'm just watching someone who's really bringing their words together on all the smoke fights. So I got to share this comment. When you're talking about all of you guys who are fans, casual fans, diehard fans, y'all gonna get a little education tonight. That's my job. And when you got a guy that got feet like Canelo and you got a guy who got flat feet like Berlango, I'm going to show you, I'm going to demonstrate to you. But thank you guys. We reached 10 million people just since Wednesday. So thank you guys. 10.7 to be exact. I can't even believe that you guys are really that into boxing like that. But I said to you guys who are out here watching that the sport of boxing has gotten to a place where I don't think people really understand what's going on with it. But it is not where it was even just a year ago right now. It has gone to an entirely different level. And to take part in such a big event and to be known, I can't just sit on the couch and enjoy it. I have to really get out here and relay it to you guys. So when you think about this, and I'm talking about Berlanga, he had the real courage this week to step to Canelo and tell him that he was going to knock him out in 6. Now, I want you guys to listen to this. There are certain variables that we talk about in the sport that I don't think a lot of people really take us serious. But when you pick a fighter in the game, like Berlanga asked to fight Canelo over and over again, and then Canelo said, hey, you getting this smoke. One of the things that I don't think some of you know as casual fans, because some of you are accountants, you might work at the library, you may drive Ubers. I don't know what you do, but this is the world that I'm from. So I want to explain to you what is actually going on. There are guys who go to the gym and you work out, you get exercises in, you watch people that you like as boxing fans. And then you say, hey, I'm at the gym, I'm working out, or I'm in the house shadow boxing. I can do what he just did. Yeah, I think I could beat him. Son, just because you see airplanes don't mean you can build an airplane. Just because you ride on a train doesn't mean you can build a train. Engineering is a thing that you have to do with fighters. And when a guy like Canelo picks Berlanga and says, I'm going to fight you, it's strictly because of this. Because see, boxing is grades. There are levels when you go through kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. You, even being in the gym, no, whatever level you're in the gym, it does not matter what level you operate inside of the gym or the fitness gym, whether you go to Crunch Fitness, Planet Fitness, or if you go to Freddie Roach Wild Card out in California. Doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is this. You know, when a person comes onto your job and they are new and they don't have experience. They don't know all of the things that are going to happen to them in that job. All of you have been in a place that you got there first, and then somebody came 2 years later, and then they thought they had it after the first week. And lo and behold, you knew they didn't. And so when you go through boxing, it's the exact same thing. And I'm going to show you guys an example as soon as I get through this point that I want to make it very, very clear that a guy would not go to the gym for 5 to 8 hours on a daily basis just so you can go to the gym for 30 minutes and try to mimic them and think you can beat them. They're working on so many other things that you could never imagine. Okay, so that's that little thing that you've been playing around in your head because you were born with so much talent, but you chose to be an accountant. All right, so let's pull back on that. When you go to the first grade, after you leave kindergarten, when you walk in there in kindergarten, you know how to put your feet on the floor. You just finish learning how to take a step without falling. This is boxing. This analogy is apropos for this particular topic. The moment you learn how to put one foot in front of the other, it's time to get ready to graduate. So now you're on basic boxing, posture, footwork. Posture and stance. Then you go to first grade. To be honest, you're still soiling your underwear, but you do know how to take one step forward, one step back, one step to the left, one step to the right. Let's push you to third grade, but you're looking at an eighth grader. You know how to hold your hands up, take a forward step, put your feet at 12 and 2, but you got a little excited because you went to the playground today and you beat up a first grader. So your ego gets in the way, and this pertains to actual real boxers too. They get to a place where they think because they beat a guy who was in kindergarten that now he can beat a guy that's in the ninth grade. How many guys in the third grade can beat you when you were in the ninth grade, right? And this is what you have to think about in boxing. So if you're thinking about getting in the ring with someone like Canelo, and I'm talking about good people who are good for the sport like Jake Paul, yeah, you should talk about fighting Canelo. But you're a third grader, literally, and Canelo's the 11th grader, okay? Stay away from it. It only appears that you can because you're looking at him from the outside, just like Munguia did. He looked at Canelo from the outside and he said, oh, I can see this, I can see that. Well, the peripheral vision changes. Now you both have the same view, and then you wonder, can you do it then? See, it's a progression because you felt like now I got my footing under me. Now I'm going to do this. But it's so much more to it. You cannot build a Tesla because you have one. So I want you just to preface, even when you're betting, be conscious of how you spend your money because there are people out here who do this for real and understand all of those layers of things that you don't understand. And when Berlanga looks at a Canelo and says all these respectful things to him because he understands how tough boxing is, but then you got to put on that bravado. And speaking of bravado, and after we go after this quick segment right here, this will be 35 to 40 seconds. Just stay on board, watch it. This is my buddy Andre Darrell doing a great job on All the Smoke, and then I'll take some of you guys' questions. So continue to drop your questions down in the comment boxes, and I'm going to definitely get to them. So here's my man Andre Darrell on All the Smoke last night.
Do now, you ain't got to knock him out, but listen, you got to show up to where. Listen, put it like this: Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier. Who won that first fight?
Ali Frazier?
Yeah, who won that first fight?
Frazier.
You sure about that?
Ali Frazier?
Yeah. I'm going to say this. The fight was
That's Ali's first loss. Am I tripping?
I know you good, but look, watch this. The fight was so good that the fans demanded to see it again, right? And what happened the second two times?
Yeah. Ali did the
Ali
same.
won.
Okay.
So it's more of a lesson than it was a loss, right? Ali needed that to show what he had, that he is the greatest, came back and did his job.
Boom. And see, that's exactly the point. Ali and Frazier won. Great point by Andre Durrell. And I knew that that was going to be my favorite piece of the segment because see what Andre did is he put it in the actual terms, right? Today's terms, something that you could understand, something that you all been a part of. All of you've all taken part in that moment. Ali Frazier. See, Ali just knew he could beat him because the Amato had just told him, you can't beat Frazier because your timing is off. You're rusty. Joe Frazier is a killer. He's not one-dimensional. Ali tried to convince the psychologists of boxing, which is Cus D'Amato, that he couldn't be beat by Frazier because Frazier was slow, and Cus D'Amato was trying to make it clear he's not slow. He's actually faster than you think. He's actually quicker than you think. He actually moves and has a style and a rhythm that's going to throw you off more than you think. But the brash Ali failed to appreciate the skill set of Joe Frazier. And the reason why I understand the skill set of Joe Frazier is because he's from Philly. And that's where my upline is from. And I know what they're doing up there. And it's always what you think you see, but it's not that ever. It's always something more. And guys just don't understand. And when Ali got into the ring, he realized that this is a lot more than I thought it was. But like Darrell just said, he didn't lose the fight, really. He just needed that lesson. And this is why I tell the coaches, all of you trainers who swear you're killing it training, but you're only working against fourth graders. I was at one time the exact same way. I thought anybody that I touch would turn to gold because I know everything boxing. But guess what? God has a great sense of humor. And whenever you allow your ego to get so robust that you don't think your shit stinks, here comes that bro game boot that you're wearing, stepping in dog shit. And it stinks when you take a guy up against a guy that you're supposed to beat, but that guy understands one thing. You're in the fourth grade, he's in the sixth. Sixth grade is only 2 grades above the fourth, but it's 2 grades of experience that fourth grader does not have. So therefore, he can't call upon something that he does not possess. If a guy tells you, I'm going to walk him backwards into my check left hook, that guy's never even seen a check left hook by the time he's gotten in the fourth grade. So how does he know how to defend it, especially when he's being set up? So as you get to the fourth grade, as you get to the fifth grade, you start to understand that boxing is more than technical. Boxing is more than psychological. Boxing is more than just skills. It goes into that level where I tell you guys about the unconventional styles of boxing. And styles of boxing is a rampant method of taking whatever you have away from you using different postures. Just like in the Philly shell, one arm down, peekaboo, I'm squared up. All of these different things, rubbernecking, taking your punch, but rocking with it, allowing you to touch, but not allowing the net to be braced so that the impact will not flail your face. It's so many different things that with your perfect little boxing style, you're throwing your hands and your right hand is perfect. Your coach is telling you, and coaches, cut this shit out. Ain't no such thing as a perfect punch. You're sitting there telling these guys, turn your punch over every time. Dude, I'm fucking tired. I have to make an adjustment on how I'm throwing my stuff, or I'm going to get countered a certain way. See, this is where you take boxing and you have to make it your own. When you're in a dog fight, because a dog fight doesn't require perfect technique. A dog fight requires you to set traps and make sure that they're out of position so you can make them take naps. Because I don't care how many people you get in front of, one thing's for damn sure. If you're in the 6th grade, don't fight an 8th grader. If you are thinking that you're grooming guys because you got all of their techniques appearing to be perfect, you've now conditioned to groom horrible fighters, good technicians, but in prize fighting, that shit don't matter. It matters zero. There are no boxers in the professional rankings that have perfect technique. Don't be stupid. Stupid is not good in boxing. Having people that are around you that have experience decades on end is the key, so that you won't be the guy like 25 years ago, me, thinking because my coach is old and I'm fresh and young, and boy, I was so handsome. I just knew I couldn't be touched because I had all of these skills and I was so Roger Mayweather-esque. And I just understood that if I could make it look a certain way, he could produce a certain way. I put a kid in the ring, and then to the demise, he got slayed, because it's things that you are not going to understand about boxing, even when your ego is just going to bust outside the box, because you think you know all and you really don't know shit about boxing. Roger Mayweather knew you, and he made the statement true. Every time I see you at these tournaments, dude, you always got these guys thinking they can beat everybody. And then they get slayed in the ring. They don't get stopped. They quit because you made them think that they shit don't stink. And you better understand when these things are happening to you, because just like last week over at Brawlers with the fighting crew, Linares and Ramirez and Eduardo and all of these future legends are helping these guys along. But lo and behold, the guys working corners are from other places and they don't know what the hell they are doing. So we got to help them. We got to help them. And I'm going to take the questions down here, but I got to tell you guys about boxing, because my job is to make sure you fucking people really understand the principles of this sport called boxing. And if I don't, then my job ain't done. All those victories and all of those defeats and all of those experiences were all for none. And I can't do that, because I made a vow that I would teach you boxing. And I'm not just going to teach you boxing. I'm going to give you the principles of boxing. And the principles of boxing, I'm sorry you don't have them. I don't give a damn what you're reading, because this shit takes more than math. Okay? So good for you. You're working with these little kids, but you still don't know shit. And you better not let your ego get them little kids hit. You better learn that this game is real, because a guy like Berlango is going to learn a lesson tonight about kill or be killed. He spoke directly to this conversation that it is Darrell. He said, I don't care what you do. You got those Puerto Ricans, you got all of these Dominicans, and you have all of these individuals from the outside of the sport who are from New York or Puerto Rico believing in you. And you got to do more than just chomp your gums. Over and over, you kept on saying it. Come on, let's go. And you talking to CANELO. You're not talking to some regular guy. You're talking to the dude who got beat by the dude so he could become the dude. And I want you guys to realize this thing is more than just about you. You keep on making it about you, your program, your cachet. My guys, it's not about you. Every individual in that camp has his own brain and his own true intuition, and he's very rarely telling you the honest truth. Until you guys get together, you put one and one together, and it makes two, and you lose because you're not telling the truth. You don't know shit about boxing. And just because you can hold pads, it means absolutely nothing. Learn the principles. And if you don't have experience, go get under someone that does, like I did. Because every single thing that I did wrong, I had a fucking bid to do. I take this thing serious. I don't know about you, but once I realized this game was more to me than just dog food, I really got serious about this stuff on an entirely different level and stop making it about me and start writing out the blueprint for the guys like you won't make the same mistakes as me. Because see, even though I was mentored well, they didn't say, hey, here's a blueprint. I did it just for you. So I said, it doesn't matter what I tell these guys. I got to give them some evidence. I got to show them the proof. So I built and built and built this entire empire of education, not for me. But I told every single person and every single coach that's winning championships because of what I did, winning titles right now, and just for a solid decade, just winning, winning, winning. That's all we've been experiencing. And it's not because of me being there physical, it's because of what I did to prevent this shit from happening. The same stuff that I had to learn because I didn't want those kids coming up that was coming into the game and had big dreams and all of this influx that people like Jake Paul have brought to the game. They brought so much energy, so many faces. COVID brought so many faces. MMA brings all of their faces. All of these different sports like soccer, they cross train, they bring so many faces. The world of social media, if you got boxing tied to it, it just makes your shit look cooler. And it brings so many more faces. And every single one of you guys who are watching right now, you're just another face that's adding to this thing. Conor McGregor's buying BKFC. My man Damon Feldman's rocking with Celebrity Boxing. Shane Mosley's fighting on a celebrity boxing match and possibly soon against Conor McGregor. There's nothing more bigger than the sport of boxing because every combat sport has to come and get some. Doesn't matter which one of those you're in. Slap, bare knuckle brawling. It doesn't matter. Kickboxing, everybody. I know I'm the one that they coming to get it from. So I just tell you, trainers, get your stuff together, man. And I don't really care how you receive this because, you know, I done my bid. I'm helping you now, so you can take it or you can leave it. I could really care. I just know I got a fraternity of men that believe in me, period. And that's all I need. I got my kids, I got my crew. But if you want that extended hand out to be somewhere where you need to be under tutelage. Go get tutelage. Because if you don't, you're going to miss out on what this thing could be. Because right now, boxing is Apple in 1984. Boxing is Amazon in 1998. Boxing is Facebook in 2004. Boxing is boxing in 2024. Boxing is gold, it's diamonds, it's jewelry, it's luxurious, it's abundant, it's robust, it's everything that you can ever imagine that it was going to be plus. And then when you look at these fighters tonight, everybody's being supported by a new YouTube channel because of people like us who brought smoke to the game since day one. Everybody's going outside of their comfort zone to do this, whether it's Andre Ward, Andre Durrell, all those guys from not just all the smoke, but Steven Jackson also from over there doing the thing big. and $1 million worth of game. You know, all of these different shows, and they're coming out every single day because people are contributing. Everybody doesn't have the same amount to contribute, but the game is growing at a robust rate consistently. Make right decisions, because you're going to have to manage somebody in this sport. Because right now, Berlanga is them cashing in, but he has time to recover from this fight if he doesn't do well. And like Darrell said, one of the things that he need to do is make sure he shows up for his fans, because no matter what happens, he will never, ever live it down if he doesn't perform. It's one thing when Gotti is fighting Mayweather. He's not a real boxer. He's an MMA guy from a family of notorious gangsters. It's okay if he don't show up. He's fighting Floyd Mayweather. He's fighting a GOAT. He's supposed to get demolished, and he did. But when you're a boxer and you've been boxing all your life and you brought that smoke and you talk that talk, you got to walk that walk, and you got to leave it in the ring like Gotti Ward. Special shouts out to my brother. Let me see. Everyone has a plan till they get knocked punched. Yeah, in the face. Absolutely, Raymond. That's yeah. And you think that, and that's what I want these coaches to understand. You're working with little kids now. You're not working with no real fighters, man. Prize fighting and boxing is not the same profession. One is about driving an Uber. One is about building airplanes. It's two different things. Anybody will tell you who's transitioned. Arizlanda Laura has fought over 12 years, something like that, in the pros, and just started changing his style. He's sitting down on his punches because he took that long to transition from amateur to pro, because he didn't have the right tutelage for that. See, over in Cuba, they don't have professional boxing. That's why they come over here on boats, right? And when you come over here on a boat, you don't know shit about real prize fighting. He had to learn a whole new style of boxing, and it took him more than a decade. That's what's going to happen to you, dude. I don't care how good you look, popping mitts. I don't care. It ain't got shit to do with what you really know about boxing. Let me see. It's boxing, anything can happen. Yeah, anything can happen. Hold on, let me get one more question before I show you this really interesting piece from Oscar. How do you find the balance, coach, between keeping a fighter down to earth and crushing his confidence? Okay, so this is the thing. 85% of boxing is mental. I'm going to give you an example of that. So great coach, Coach Floyd. Coach has got his kids, and he's in the school doing his knowledge and understanding. So thank you for that question. When a fighter gets his ego burst, so what? It's just like when your child goes to school and somebody bullies him, or the teacher gives him a bad grade and he comes home and he's hurt. And when you have a success mind, you say, okay, now why did that happen? And so that's it. And what's going to come out of their mouth is the answer. Well, I told you I was doing the drills at home, but I wasn't really. Or I said I was going to do some runs, and I said it, but I didn't. I really ain't been in my head space. All it's going to do is make them communicate better. Okay? Something happened wrong. Why did it happen? Answer the question, get on to the next. With smoke, there's fire. With rain, there are clouds. But with clouds, there's a silver lining every single time. But you can have the person who concentrates on the cloud, or you can be the person that concentrates on the silver lining. That's what a fighter has to learn. That's what a fighter has to embody. A fighter has to know, I need all the smoke. So when something is good is happening, I'm looking and preparing for the other thing. because this good ain't solidified until I have the trial to graduate me to the next level. If you're down here trying to be safe, running the ball like Barry Sanders, you are never, ever get here psychologically. You'll always be ducking the tough time because you want everything to be roses. But the only thing that's cool about roses is they reds, and if you're guns and roses. But if you're someone who's ducking the smoke, you're losing the fact of the matter. And the fact of the matter is when you get into the fire, there's going to be smoke. And sometimes when you get fire, you're going to get ashes because that shit was just too hot. But you're going to be better for it. So every trial is your plus. It's your moment of truth. It's your test. It's your exam. And if you're ducking that, welcome. You'll never reach the top of boxing. And I guarantee you, you will never reach success. And that's why I call this the success mindset. This has nothing to do with the guy who wants all guns and roses. I want all the smoke. Because when the good comes to bad and the bad comes to graduation. Period. Point blank. Take another question. None of this is about the self, about me. Yeah, the lives of those we serve are in the balance. That's right, Coach Thomas, another member of the School of Boxing who understands that if you want to reach higher, get with somebody who's higher. And I got the opportunity to, but here's the thing, head game, speaking of that, where my guy, Berlanga, was chastised by Oscar because Oscar is not playing with these boys no more. Oscar is building his brand once again, attracting more eyes to boxing because Oscar De La Hoya was, I don't get it twisted, was the golden boy. And he was the golden boy because he went to the Olympics and became a world champion boxer. Because see, you're not a world champion until you have a world champion title. And the world champion title in boxing as an amateur is the Olympic gold medal. And that means you are world champion because you beat the best fighters in the world at their best. Damn, don't play with that guy because when it's all said and done, how he does anything is how he does everything. So don't fuck with champions because they know how to win in the end. Here's Oscar. Berlanga, stay away from this dude.
Also, Edgar Berlanga, you stopped your press conference yesterday to mention my name. You said you're gonna slap me when you see me next. Why? Because I asked to see your Puerto Rican birth certificate? Because you're not really Puerto Rican? I'm asking because when I fought Trinidad, he had the entire island travel to Las Vegas to support him. Or are you upset because I said you're a subpar opponent for Canelo? These are the facts, bro. Don't let them get you rattled. Dude, you are not fighting me. You are distracted and better get locked in because Canelo's gonna tap that ass this weekend. Good luck and enjoy your first and last pay-per-view experience.
And he's just telling them the truth. Enjoy your first and your last pay-per-view experience. Unless something happens that is just time. All the stars align. You can't be focused on all of these people. And I'm going to answer the question. I see my man, I think is Jesus. I'm about to answer that question when I get to you. Give me about a minute. But I want you guys to realize this in boxing. You don't know a lot. I don't care what you think you know. I know guys who've been in the game. You've been in the game for 10 years and you think you know boxing. Man, I was in the game 15 years before I realized I didn't know shit. And I know you're not better than me at what I do. And I don't care how you receive that. When I say I'm the best, I done sat in the room with the best and they said, you're different. And I'm different. I made boxing look different. Period. My whole cachet is just different. And this ain't about me, but I'm telling you, I'm trying to save you because your ego is, man, it's just not in the right place. And I'll just say it because I get to see so many coaches and I want y'all all to win because we got our opportunity right now. We got the opportunity right now to be the best sport ever, not just now, but ever, because boxing carried sport in the 70s. Boxing carried sport in the 60s. Boxing has carried the sport all the way through the entire 20th century. And now we got good other pieces coming on board, period. Now we got the UFC, we got one champion, MMA, slap, all this stuff coming. But those are tournaments. Those aren't individual sports. Boxing has never needed kickboxing. Boxing has never needed Muay Thai. Boxing has never needed wrestling. Boxing has always been fucking boxing. Ain't nobody been talking about no wrestler in the 70s and 80s except Ric Flair, Andre the Giant. Boxing is breed the biggest name athletes ever. It'll never change. So now we're collecting our flowers. The bigger these other sports get, the bigger boxing gets. We just sitting at the top. So I know a lot of you guys from both worlds. Good for you. But I'm from boxing, and there's nothing at the top. Boxing is you throw. This is where you fight first. Your fucking hands, right? So that's boxing. You ain't waking up, going directly into a fight and throwing a fucking knee. You get your head chopped off. So we got to realize how big of a sport and opportunity this is for everybody. All of you guys in combat, striking coaches, MMA coaches, wrestling coaches, y'all need to think big now because the world is turning to combat. You know why? Because everybody's realizing and acknowledging that you need it in your life to help give you that mental and psychological balance. You want to kick somebody's ass every single day. And as people have made it uncool to fight, fighting is cool because everybody wants to fight inside. If you don't want to fight inside, you are a rose. And that's not a compliment. Everybody got a vibration and a frequency. Everybody wants to fight. We just ain't all got the opportunities. It would be nonstop fighting if people thought it was just cool to fight. Everybody. You'd be beating up bullies. Bullies would be getting smoked. Now, other people just have better behavioral patterns and they choose not to. But if fighting was accepted, shit, it wouldn't be no bullies because everybody would be losing. So you can't lose if you can't bully nobody if you can lose and everybody know you can lose. Bullying is all about psychologically making a person think that they can't beat you and that you're willing to do something that they're not willing to do. But if fighting was cool, made cool and okay and accepted, oh yeah, he said something, go punch him in the face. Go body slam him. Go rear naked choke him. Period, point blank. So it's important that everybody in combat realize this is your time. You better realize that. That's why we motivating our guys in the school right now. Let people know you teach fighting. I got 85-year-old women, 16-year-old pink girls, 27-year-olds in professional careers, all kinds of people just come in front of me and wanted to get the smoke, and none of them looked the part. I got women who from India right now popping and following the page. Man, my page is hardcore boxing knowledge. But I'm bringing all kinds of people because boxing is awesome. And if you don't know boxing really good, learn it really good because it's the thing. And as we go back to we talk about their levels in boxing, like grades, that's how our school set up. Be careful about underestimating how serious I mean that. You better know what grade that person you talking about fighting is in. Now, let me get this question. All right. What if they just know they gonna get they ass whooped, so they ducking? Oh, well, people in boxing don't care about losing. I gotta be honest with you. No, like Canelo's fought more tough people in sparring that he'll ever fight in the ring. Your worst ass whoopings come in sparring. It don't count. But Joe Frazier fought Jimmy Ellis. He said, I ain't know if I was gonna win this fight because I was getting my ass tore up in camp. I ain't know if I could do it. And got a third round knockout. Evander Holyfield was in camp to fight Mike Tyson for 17 weeks. How many people know how long 17 weeks is? That's over 4 months of fighting to get ready for one night of boxing. And he was getting his ass tore up by a 6'4" chief sparring partner who was 17-0 as a professional fighter. Dude looked like my guy from New Zealand, Parker. He looked like Parker. And had good boxing skills, good boxing. And then Vander Holyfield was like, yo, he was lighting my ass up. So when he was going to fight Tyson, he didn't know he was going to win that fight. He told the whole story, so it should be on YouTube. But he was like, yo, he was beating the shit out of me. And excuse my French, y'all. I don't usually curse more than once, but this is where we are in the sport. This is a big thing. It's a big time. And I just galvanize you guys to really take boxing more serious and start realizing that you got to get your gyms up in par. You got to get your gyms up to par. You got to get ready because this is the time. And boxing is big. It ain't going to stop getting big because as long as new sports are being born, MMA, boxing are all going to benefit immensely. But all of that other stuff are tournaments. Boxing is at the top. It's over football, it's over basketball, it's over all of the shit. Because all of those guys come over to do boxing. We don't go over there. We don't touch MMA. We don't touch soccer. We touch boxing because boxing is it. And I'm not doing this because I'm biased. I'm just telling you the fucking truth. It just is. Like, we don't cross train in that stuff. They all come over there. Hey, I need to get my footwork right. Can I do some boxing? Hey, I need to build up my courage. Can I box? Hey, I need some confidence. Can I box? I need to get my hands right. Can I box? I need to get tougher inside. Can I box? I need to find my soul because boxing ring will tell the truth about every one of you. Just try to get in one with someone who won't teach you. Just get in there and find out. That's why all of those sports like celebrity boxing is getting so big. And Damon is signing real stars now, like Conor McGregor and BKFC. That's why you think something's being born every 3 weeks, because people want to fight. You want to fight. You just ain't had nobody train you to fight, right? But if you did, you kick that dude or that girl ass who you don't like a lot, who been testing you, who been pushing you, who been telling you with their own eyes and their actions that you ain't on their level, but you really know you are. And so we have to learn that there's a place that you channel that stuff. So channel that, channel it. But boxing teaches you all of that. Special shouts out to my brother, Coach Harabra, over here in Warman Bowl. All season the building. Ain't nobody jumping off until my boys in the building. We just took the 10-minute challenge. That's a workout. It's called 12 Peaks. It's all 12 facets of the mind, body, soul, every facet. Thanks for being first out the gate. Coach Haraba with his boxing team over there getting it popping. They just had their win a week ago. We just got winners, man. We just got winners. But this Berlanga kid, I like the kid swag because New York is real and that attitude is real. The thing is, that ain't boxing. What you got to do tonight is boxing. So you have the opportunity. You have the opportunity to be talked about. And people say, I want to see that again. Or, like Oscar De La Hoya said, your last pay-per-view opportunity. Don't do that. And another fighter that's fighting tonight, I don't know if you guys really are with that, Danny Swift Garcia, but Danny is my guy. I like Danny. Danny's from Philly. Danny is from Philly. Let me see. I got Good gracious, man. I can't answer all the questions, but I appreciate everybody dropping them. But what I will do is I'll personally message and answer the questions because I can't get all these. You know what I'm saying? I just can't do it. So, but thank you guys. But the key is that we are trying to make it such a robust thing. We got to be prepared because this is let's just say y'all remember the Love Boat back in the 70s. This the Love Boat, for those of you who was born too late to know that. The Love Boat was this big ship, you know, and they travel and all of these fantastic stories, and that's they built it off. And there was this midget called Tattoo on an island, and Ricardo Montalban. He was this cool James Bond, got the swag, the white suits like Don Johnson of Miami Vice. Special shouts out to my people down here on Washington Ave, getting it popping for the 40th anniversary of the Miami Vice crew. Miami Vice, 40 years old, celebrating the entire crew down there, celebrating. That's going, it's out of control. You know, no one does it like Miami. No one does it like Miami. It ain't no place sexier in the world. You gotta, this place is absolutely insane. But special shouts out to Troy Wright. He's over everything over there, all of the events on Washington Ave. They're getting it popping tonight. But that show was so crazy good. Y'all pull it up, The Love Boat. But what's so unique about that is that's how big of a treasure chest that this era is right now, moving from the pandemic into the next 100 years. All that's coming is growth. So I want you trainers. I've talked to trainers who can't make a living just training because they don't understand how to market their own brand. They don't understand how to get the right kind of people. And y'all got to remember, is you got to learn that just like you learn how to train and work with people. So when I look at people like Berlanga, when I look at people like Conor McGregor, when I look at people who have a brand name, a brand, y'all got to realize, stop acting like the only thing you got to do is learn how to hold a mitt and learn how to tell your story. Look at this. We got over 1.5 million subscribers because I turned the damn camera on. I outworked you on purpose because I knew you wouldn't do it. That's right, Paul. The Love Boat, damn it. It's the joint. Yeah, you better know it. And I'm telling you, so don't let that hold your team back. These guys are regretting it. The people who didn't build up themselves when they had the opportunity. Special shouts out to my brothers over at K2 Boxing and Jiu-Jitsu over in Everett, Washington, right over there in the Seattle area. West Coast in the building. They just won, came back with a daggone whole trophy case full of belts. I love belts. Belts is so cool. It says so much about what you're willing to do that other people ain't. So special shouts out to them. They continue to contribute more gold, more journey, more weaponry to brag about. We're well over 300 titles now in the school of boxing. Some dude told me, man, how you could teach boxing online, man? I'm like, fucking asshole. You the same way you watching my shit. You looking at it, ain't you? All it takes is eyes and a brain, and we did it. Now we're over 300, well over. I would think we're like 309. Yeah, 309 Golden Glove titles and titles in their amateur rankings. And of course, y'all know the stories of the pros that use in the stuff. And man, don't let nobody ever tell you can't do something. Because I knew I'd outwork the game. And if I had to literally come to you and show you hands-on, I would have. But I didn't have to. I could do it right from my desk. and we got 1.5 million people subscribed because I decided to turn the cameras on just like Jake Paul did, just like Logan Paul did, just like KSI did, just like Mike Tyson is doing, just like De La Hoya just did, just like all the smoking Andres, the Dre they doing. Turn on the cameras and build your team and your legacy. Have something to pass down to people that they can think about you and see you. When they see your ass, they know that he bring all the smoke. I walked into events, people jaws drop. I'm like, what's going on? And it's like, you're well known. Be well known. It's okay that you do something great. You do something great. I talk shit to you, but that's because every cloud has a silver lining. Be the silver lining. Don't be the black cloud. If you see a black cloud, for sure it's going to be a silver lining. So take that, eat that, and say, yeah, coach, this is what I did. A fighter told me just 3 or 4 years ago. No, yeah, right. 4 or 5 years ago, 5 years ago. The reason why he was kicking ass and taking names for the past 15 years, he's still undefeated, is because when he was an amateur, hadn't he had his first fight, is that I told him that he could never do this shit. And he said, that was my fuel for 15 years. I never told you, right? I didn't say it like that. Like I said, I told you guys about a couple of weeks ago this story, but I didn't tell him that he couldn't do it. I just said, if you don't do what's required, you won't ever meet it. But his ears heard something totally different. So fuck that guy who every word hurts his feelings, because with every cloud comes a silver lining. Use the silver lining. If I say something to you and it touches your feelings, oh, then who gives a shit? Because I know I just gave you a silver lining. So stop seeing everything as a weakling, and grow up. Hold on, my man, coach. Coach is the inside knowledge about Shane Mosley Jr. and maybe the next fight. That's massive for him. And yeah, and Connor. Oh, yeah. It's inside voice. It's all they got to do is sign it. Well, Shane is fighting tonight, so he got to fight. He do good in his fight, and that fight is, Connor's not going to turn that fight down. Shane ain't going to turn that fight down. It's going to be a big deal. It's a great crossover fight again for Connor. Connor loves boxing. He's investing in bare knuckle. He's throwing money around to flip his money. He's smart, like Sean O'Malley, who's fighting tonight. Conor McGregor, Sean O'Malley are going to be two of the biggest stars in combat. Like I said, boxing got people like Canelo and Tank, but the biggest stars like Sean O'Malley is a fucking star, man. Like our people, I mean, like literally they selling merch like, these stars on YouTube. Like that's a star. That's a brand. He'll be able to do any kind of humongous deal with any major company in the world because he's building his brand. So build your brand. Yep. Shane and his father are, boxing beautiful people. Yeah, they are. And Shane, he said it right here. We talked. I just recently connected with him, and I'm telling you, he wants to win those titles because it's in his bloodline, and he wants that smoke, and he knows he can fight. And I said he would win those titles. He will. He will fight Laura, and Laura will have problems because Shane can box really good, and bang, he's susceptible to that left hook. We got to fix that. So, of course, I'll tell him and talk to him on that. But got to stop getting hit with that left hook. Even though he got a brick head, his jaw is real. You got to stop getting hit with that. But look, I'm going to be honest. In order for this guy to have a chance tonight, he's got to know how to fight, and he got to know how to close the gap. And this is how you got to close the gap against somebody like Berlanga. If you're a Canelo, that was what we call head pops. A lot of you are telling me that you're having trouble closing the gap when you box. And the reason why you're having trouble is because you're not understanding the actual mechanics. Your coach is working with you on footwork drills and doing it, but then you get onto the other stuff because the coach wants to show off his mitt work. The coach wants to show off other things. He doesn't have enough time to work with just you all the time, because there are other people that have to actually get the attention. And when you don't understand that the coach has to deal with other people, you're not going to go out and do the work yourself. You're going to say, because coach ain't showed me, then you're going to get on a fight night and you're not going to know how to close the gap. But when we did this, and everybody knows we're a premium product, right? Everybody knows if you ever buy any of our courses, we're not a course people. We are a school. You can invest in sections of our school, because we do it K through kindergarten and then college and then your PhD, because this is where you get your master's in boxing, right? So people do that. But the thing is, when you understand how much of it you got to do, which is where people go wrong, then you'll do the rest. But then you want to blame the coach, and the coach wants to blame the fighter. And then you have a situation like Ryan Garcia and Goosen. They just part ways. They don't even verbally do it, because they just know something's wrong, but they can't put their finger on it. And it's the level of communication and having the understanding. We did this, and everybody knows, like I just said, we are premium. Thing about it is, we know that we got to show you what you don't know, because, man, I told you before, it took me 15 years and I was under the tutelage of the greatest minds. You will never have the opportunity to work under who I've worked under. Never. There ain't many people that have ever had a pulse in their body that got the opportunity that I did. And I'm so thankful for it. I constantly would just want to write a damn check and send it to them, just for having me under that wing, all the way down to the Zales, Tony Zales, the families, bringing me in and showing me all of this magnificent knowledge that nobody can get their hands on. I'm just trying to tell you, man. So earlier today, we took these drills on really having trouble with people closing the gap. And I said, type champion, you can get it. So you can see we put together just enough for those drills. It ain't cost you a damn thing. Just see what you don't know. The amount of things I seen you work. It ain't that good. You got some cool drills, but you don't understand how to build a complete fighter, because it takes you 848 hours to make one skill settle in. So if you start doing that skill and you stop, you starting all the way back over. And I know you don't understand that system. That's why we have K through kindergarten, college, and then master's, and then your PhD. And when you're PhD, that's your doctorate. That means you write books. And so that's why I'm 30 books to the good. I write boxing now. I create and write and stamp and trademark terms. So I'm not going to argue with you about this thing. I'm just trying to tell you there are levels and you don't know them, because I'm the one putting out the information about the levels. That's what happens when you've been on the Mount Rushmore of 4 of the 5 that are up there. You have been exposed and you've had access to a level of knowledge that people don't. You can assume and all of those things, but that's not going to get you anywhere but broke. Like the other 99% of the people who are part of the game got. They got broke because they didn't understand how not to be broken. So with that being said, that right there is for learn how to close the gap. If you don't do it for me, go somewhere. People got to teach you things like that, not only the skill, but the actual technique of hours. Because this kid said he sparred. This is my man, Caleb Plant. I think this one is Caleb.
Who've stepped inside the ring with?
I mean, we'll figure that out on Saturday night. You know, he is undefeated, and he's looking to stay that way. So I know he's coming in motivated, but me and my team, we've had a great camp. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of fighters say this at press conferences, but this is like the best camp I've ever had and the sharpest I've ever boxed. And, you know, it's been some time since my last fight, but I've done 359 rounds of sparring since my last fight. So I've been staying busy, and I'm extremely sharp. So we'll see where he ranks after. You know, we got to figure that out.
You see, I mean, Caleb, he done put in some work. You see, I mean, he calculates his hours. Hey, Paul, tell them on the thing. Do you take your art of sparring guide? The sparring guide tell you how many rounds that you need to train every camp as you progress through the letter. Coach, do you have that? No, you don't. Because you got to know how not to burn your damn fighter out. All of y'all are overtraining these guys. All of you. You don't understand. See, I came from the world of sports performance, real sports performance, meaning I was actually in the game. And then went and learned what's necessary for the game. So the people who were getting paid for that job, the people that were being paid for that job had to ask me. They had to ask me, were they right? All right. So it's key. It's key that you guys take liberty to be really, really conscious about this. Please don't play with this game. Learn it, understand what you don't know, and be willing to learn. It's other teachers out there teaching and giving you guys the wisdom. Get up under them. Stop just dancing around them. You don't know what these guys know. So go and get under them and learn so you don't get somebody's head knocked off, period. Because our guys is winning. Gold, 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 straps, straps, straps. That's what happens when you get up under people and do it the right way and prevent from learning and getting in, making mistakes. And so Berlanga had a statement about the guy who showed him how to hit the bag enough to get that knockout power. Obviously, he ain't hitting the bag enough, because when you get to a certain level of boxing, that's around the 20 fight area, you're going to start fighting guys who can actually walk with both legs, not getting out of a wheelchair or driving a cab. And that's where you stop knocking people out and start fighting guys that count. Like Mauricio Suleiman told you guys on the show and has in our course. In our courses, Mauricio Suleiman has a segment that he's done in Master Boxing for Master Boxing about getting ranked. And so coaches, y'all got access to that. I tell you, every 6 months, watch all of those videos with Ray Armendariz, with Jack Reese. All of those guys contributed to our course, to our school, because they understood what guys didn't know. They talk so much trash about y'all coaches because they watching y'all and they telling us what you guys are doing, which I can see because I watch the TV when you're on it, or if I'm at the events. And y'all got to do better, man. This is boxing. It's the biggest thing. It's the biggest component to every sport. Any fight. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James all said it. Oh, I had to transition my game after Shaq left the Lakers. I had to start boxing, and then won 2 championships back to back. Start boxing. It changes everything. It gives you so many other things that the other people don't have. And so, coaches, y'all have a big thing to be ready for. And Berlanga, put it in the comment boxes. Will Berlanga pull off the upset the apple cart tonight? If not, who will? Who will win this fight? Who will be the fighter tonight? Berlanga said he was going to knock him out in 6. What'll happen to the boxing world if Berlanga knocks Canelo Alvarez out? Yeah, that's reaching. But what'll happen to the boxing game? Man, will everybody want to fight Canelo for real then? Everybody wants to fight him now, but everybody really wants to fight him then, because no matter what, with or without those belts, he will be the cash cow. He will put money in your life that will change your life and your legacy forever. But that's it, man. We just came on to give you guys a little burst. We will do a post-fight. The post-fight will be like Monday. We always do a little reel on Sunday, though. You can definitely get some highlights that we'll do. But for the most part, thanks for watching. And always remember, get the knowledge. Make sure you're getting there somewhere that you can go from kindergarten to college. And that tutelage is important, because the game is, nothing's bigger than the sport of boxing. because sport of boxing just sits on top of sport, and everything just pushes it up. Doesn't matter what it is, because once a person cross trains into boxing, they're going to be 10 times better. So for so many other reasons, boxing is one sport. It's a one sport with zillions of benefits inside of that one thing. It touches on every atom in the human body, internally and externally. All right. So no matter what you are, make sure that you are boxing. Because I know over here at Master Boxing, we teach boxing. Until next time, continue blessings. Coach Bradley signing out. I'll see you guys soon in the winner's circle over on Facebook. Remember, if you don't subscribe on YouTube, get your ass over there if you want to see longer form content and get more principles about boxing. Until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.